30 years later, the line on the map still points west, and not one government agency has ever explained what it means. Welcome to Untold. No to Yearsers. Part 4 of 4. Oakville, Washington still stands. The population has not significantly changed. The forests are still there. The same roads, the same timber economy. The events of the summer of 1994 are remembered by the people who lived through them, and by researchers who have returned to the case in the decades since. But the case has never been resolved. No additional falls have been officially documented in Oakville since 1994. The samples are gone. The illness cases remain unlinked in any official legal or medical finding, and the line on the map has never been explained. Sonny Barclift continued to speak about the events for years after 1994. She maintained that what happened to her family, her mother's collapse, her cat's death, her own illness, was real, documented, and caused by the substance that fell on her property. She was not a scientist or a conspiracy theorist. She was a woman who had held the substance in her hands and then watched her mother be taken away in an ambulance. Dottie Hearn lived. She recovered. She gave interviews and was consistent in her account until her death. Dr. David Little's position also remained unchanged. He believed the substance caused the illness. He could not prove it in the way that a controlled study would require, because no controlled study was ever conducted. The Unsolved Mysteries segment remains one of the most watched episodes from that era. It has been digitized and is available online. The witnesses in it are real. The footage of the substance is real. The samples shown in the segment are real, though those specific samples are now also unaccounted for in the documented record. The military hypothesis remains the most structurally coherent explanation available, not because it has been proven, but because it is the only framework that accounts for all of the documented elements simultaneously. The linear fall pattern, the biological content, the bacteria consistent with dispersal testing, the proximity to military exercise zones, and the complete absence of any natural meteorological mechanism that could produce a gelatinous biological precipitation event. The alternative explanations that have been proposed include a natural concentration of marine microorganisms carried inland by unusual atmospheric conditions, an industrial contamination event of unknown origin, and at the speculative edge of the documented record, non-human biological material of unknown origin. None of these explanations has been proven. None has been ruled out in a formal official investigation. The Washington State Department of Health review, which is the closest thing to an official conclusion the case ever received, stated only that the source was unknown. That statement was made in 1994. It has not been revisited or revised by any agency since. Here is what the record shows stated plainly. 6 times in 3 weeks in August and September of 1994, a gelatinous biological substance fell from a clear sky over Oakville, Washington. It contained living human white blood cells and at least 2 species of bacteria, one of which is associated with human biological dispersal research. Multiple residents became ill after contact. 2 required medical attention. 1 animal died. A police officer witnessed the precipitation directly. A state health department reviewed the case and filed it without conclusion. The original samples disappeared from the evidence chain inside a government facility. The fall pattern was linear, consistent with a flight path toward the Pacific Ocean. The military denied involvement and released no records. 30 years have passed. The substance that fell on Oakville has never been identified. The source has never been determined. The illness cases have never been officially explained. And the line on the map still points west, toward open ocean, toward the test range, toward whatever flew over a small town one August night and left something behind that, at the moment of analysis, was still alive. That's it for part 4. Follow Untold Lores for part 1 of our next story. Like and subscribe for daily stories.